So what do you get when you mix a 200 plus pound mountain bike rider with low tire pressure? So here's this is the dent in my rim that is causing me to not be able to seal the tires anymore. But as I was looking at the rim, I noticed I also got some other pretty good ones. There's that one there as well. The sealant is just leaking out of those. So my last ride, I must have hit it and I started leaking sealant. Couldn't do anything about it, so I had to put a tube in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna swap the hoop out with a new hoop, and everything else I'm gonna keep the same. Same hub, same spoke, same everything. Just changing out the rim. To get this project going, I did invest in a couple of, I used to break spokes a lot when I was commuting because I was loading up my bike with an additional like 40 pounds of stuff on my commute. And so I finally invested in this Spin Doctor wheel truing kit, which has been really good. Got this helps me with measuring the tension on the spokes. It's a little bit easier than doing it by feel, a little bit more consistent. I'm not an expert wheel builder by any stretch of the imagination, and so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the old wheel, I'm going to mirror it, and I'm just going to swap exactly how the old wheel is and just put it right on the new rim, which is same dimensions. Everything should fit perfectly. Famous last words, nothing ever fits perfectly, but we're going to give that a shot. So here we go, let's see what happens. Step one in this whole process is just to get that tire off, and I had a bit of a mess because the last time I had used this rim I had put in an inner tube, and so the sealant wasn't fully cleaned out, and so I just had sealant that had run all over the rim, and so because of that it had made the spokes were really set in there and had kind of got gummed up. And so my first step was actually, after cleaning the rim off, was to just go around and release the tension on all the spokes. So once I had done that, I just put the new rim on top of the old rim, and you want to make sure that you match up the rims perfectly. You want to make sure that you've got your valve stem or the hole for the valve stem in the exact same spot. Make sure that the rim's facing the right way, the lettering's going the right way, stuff like that. And then when I started, I did actually put one spoke in each quarter of the rim to kind of just keep it in place and make sure I was on track and I didn't miss a spoke somewhere. So it just kind of made sure that I was doing everything right. But once I had done that, it's really just a matter of you undo the spoke from the old rim and you move it right over to the new rim, and you just go spoke by spoke, and after 32 spokes you've got the new rim in place. Now it's going to be really not true at all, of course, when you start doing this. You're having to build the wheel pretty much from that point, but the process of just getting the rim swapped over is pretty easy. You can see now I'm done with the old rim and I'm starting on the new rim. So the first thing I do, and again, I'm not an expert, but the first thing I do when I'm truing up a rim is or building a rim, I guess, building a wheel, is I go in and just make sure that each of the spokes is about the same distance. So I make sure that each spoke is tightened up to the end of the thread. Okay, so here's, I've got all the spokes in, and generally just kind of taking out some of the tension or some of the looseness, so there's a little bit of tension on them. Just give you a feel for where we're starting with on the rim. Oh yeah, that's nice and straight. Anyway, here's where the fun part of wheel building comes in. So the nice thing about having a truing stand is it allows you to see where the center of the wheel is supposed to be. So you can always use your bike flipped upside down as a truing stand, but it's just a little bit harder, it takes a little bit more time. But now all I'm doing is I'm trying to move everything towards the center. I'm trying to get the rim, anything that's out further than it should be, I'm trying to pull it into the center. And so I'm only tightening at this point, but normally you're working with 4 sets of spokes at a time. You've got 2 sets of spokes that are pulling the wheel one way and the other 2 are pulling it the opposite way. But right now I'm only tensioning because everything's really loose. So I'm just tensioning to get everything in the center. Now eventually what I'll start doing is generally again, you're working with 4 spokes at a time, and as you tighten one set, you loosen the other set. So I'll loosen to allow some flexibility, and then I'll tighten on the other side. And it's just going around 4 sets of spokes at a time, always just pushing stuff into the middle and trying to get it into the middle every time. And eventually you come up with a straight wheel. And that's it. It's a pretty easy project just to swap out the rim. And if you get stuck, you can always take the rim into the shop, and for a few bucks they can finish up the final adjustments on it. Hey dog.